Sick Twisted Freaks, it's Rolly. How you doing? Welcome to the show. And hey, by the way, I actually pointed at the camera correctly this time. We do a video.
Yeah, point at it. I don't know. How many times you practice that?
You don't want to know.
Really?
No, you don't. You don't want to know. I couldn't do this for love or money last week. So, yeah, I guess the best way to say that, just as a reminder, we actually are filming or videoing, shooting the podcast on my with a camera and putting it up on YouTube.
And you're shooting it with the camera and putting it up.
What do you what?
I'm just want to help clarify the language because you're doing so well.
You're starting off real early, and I'm not in the best of moods. So, do you want to take a couple steps back?
Why?
Well, your mouthwash ain't making it for a start. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm over here.
Jeez, what the heck did you have?
Well, there was some pizza, but there was some. Well, you know, I like the anchovies and the.
Okay, all right, you can back up a little bit over there.
Woo!
Oh, man. God, it's like a walking olive factory. Olive Garden. This is an Olive Garden. This is an olive factory. Right. This is a... Only you could take pizza and make it a weapon of mass destruction. Oh, my Lord.
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying scope. That's what I'm saying. Could you step away, gargle a little bit, rinse,
Slather?
right, repeat. Just take care of your business. So, hey, folks, welcome to the show. I want to say thank you to all of you, patience, for your patience with last week's episode. Obviously, you know that that is something that's I feel very passionately about. And to the special individuals that decided they needed to, talk to me about this, despite the fact that I said, I don't care. Thanks for gatekeeping. Appreciate it. Don't care about your opinion. I'm not going to debate you about your opinion either. If you really want to actually put your opinion out there, hey, you know what? I have the same access to YouTube and a podcasting platform as anybody else. You can go get your own. Fuck you.
What about my free speech?
I am telling you to go practice it, son. Free speech does not mean I have to allow you to, blast your opinion on my shit. Thank you. Go get your own shit. That's not fair. Oh, yeah, it is. I don't have to allow that shit here. And I'm not gonna, and especially if your name is user. No. If you ain't actually, if you don't have a picture and your name is user, no, I'm not. You're not even getting door. You can't even see a door, much less cross it. So yeah, so my week's been good. I don't know what to talk about here. I started a new project at work. I say started. They've actually started this podcast. This podcast.
Yeah, do you talk much?
Fuck off. Started this project from scratch on day one. Day one. This is the second time this has happened to me where they've stood up a project from day one, and it's not happening. So that's good, and look, for what they're paying me, I'm happy to sit there and thumb it. If they were paying me shit, I'd probably have a problem and I'd rather want to work or go do something else. But for what they're paying me to do this, I'm more than happy to sit on my ass and, because LinkedIn Learning is a thing and it's just 180 degrees behind me. All I have to do is turn around. Figure out what I'm doing. What do you want to do? I don't know. I've been doing some marketing, social media marketing stuff, and training, learning, and development. Taking some classes on that. Because why not? All in all, and I've mentioned this on several occasions, but it bears repeating. This has been a really, really shitty couple of years, and I'm coming out of it, and I'm doing okay. And it occurs to me that one of the things that I needed to do in order to come back from where I was is start making stuff, right? I mean, I've said this already, I'm sure, and I'm feeling better because I'm actually doing something. Not just this podcast, but I'm actually doing something. I had a self-esteem issue because I had a supervisor that basically horrible. I won't say her name. I won't go into details about it other than the fact that it was a horrible experience, and one that I don't want to repeat. I've only had, in 30 years of working in the industry that I've worked in, I've never had an experience like that with a person like that, and I'm never going to do it again. So there's that. I am doing something that is worth doing, and they're paying me a very decent amount of money, one that I'm not, going to complain about at all. It actually is the same amount of money that I was making before COVID ate my job in 2020. I have been made whole. So I have no problem with that. And that's all I'm going to say about that, is just to say that where I was a couple months ago when I made that video called I Want to Share Something With You, I've had a chance to do some things, talk to some people that have helped me greatly. And like some Chinese some bitch said, basically the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and take a step, motherfucker. I believe that's verbatim. I think.
Yeah, I think it is. It's on the papyrus.
It's on the. Well, they didn't have paper. It is the papyrus.
Yeah, well, whatever it was, they had that paper that was made out of reeds.
Are you talking isn't that Egyptian?
I don't know. What did they say? How did they say it in Egypt if they just said the journey of 1,000 miles?
They said, walk along this river, and then they painted a picture of a river next to it, and then there was a goat. What? And then somewhere along the line, somebody said, "Oh, mighty Isis," and Shazam appeared out of the sky. I don't know. Somewhere those Filmation Saturday morning cartoons like Shazam and Isis, somewhere they're online, and yeah, I actually need to go back and find those, because Isis was funny because all her spells were rhymes. You remember this? Yes, I know, I'm old. Sit down. So, let's get to the meat.
I call t-shirt.
Yeah, actually, that's something that I hear a voice in my head. Yeah, no kidding. Not you. I hear a voice in my head of one of my best friends, and he just said, "Can I get a t-shirt?" when I said, "Let's get to the meat." That's it. Rolly, let's get to the meat. Now available on Redbubble, T-Pubble. There you go. It's on T-Pubble. That's product placement. There are two of them that I remember. I just didn't want to say either of them. Not until we get the deal. I don't think it's a deal. I think you just, I know. So it's Rolly. Let's get to the meat. We didn't put the reverb in, that might hurt as much. Let's get to the meat. I said some things last week that probably bear a little clarification, and it has to do with the invisible sky buddy. Some of y'all some of y'all were just upset that, that I have the stance on guns that I have, and that's okay. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion. You're also entitled to be wrong, but that's. And as I said, this is my show. Go pull your own shit. But, I don't necessarily believe in an invisible sky buddy. I was raised Catholic. That probably has something to do with it. But it also has something to do with my experience with some of you. Not all of you. There is a pastor that is a friend of mine in Texas, in the Houston area, who is amazing. I love him to death. He's a very good friend. And I would never say anything disparaging about him. I have another friend who's a pastor in the Nashville area, who is one of the nicest and sweetest men I've ever met in my life. And I would never. I would never. But here's the thing that I know about those two individuals, and I know this for a fact, that they act out of genuine love for people. And I see that. And it's easy for me to see that when, again, faith without works is dead, right? Well, I see them work. I see what they do in their communities. I see a lot of stuff. And then I see God's special education team, we'll put it that way. The Osteens of the world. The big mega church people that I can't stand. And then you have what I will call the super duper evangelical Christians that I do not believe that. I believe that they think they're acting out of a place of love, and they're not. And when you tell them that they're not, and you go, no, this is not a thing, this is really not cool, then they feel persecuted. And I suppose I understand that for a minute. But when you turn around and do the same thing again, and you get smacked down again, there is no more persecution. There is no more, why are you doing this to me? I'm doing this to you because you're stupid. Because I told you once. And then you did it again. Now you're going, I'm going to tell you about yourself. Here's a story that somebody did I have two. When I was working for, this is 20 years ago now, almost. I was working for a contractor who had a Verizon contract at one time. And the job was to do tech support and billing support for DSL, which was a new technology back then. Again, Rolly is old, so, let that sink in. And I was working in the forecasting and scheduling department for a wonderful man from Cape Cod. I called him the senator because he sounded like this. Hey, Rolly, my son. Yes, sir. Nothing but absolute respect for that man. There was a gentleman named Rick. I won't use his last name, partly because I can't remember it, but he's not going to mind. My grandmother was on the decline, and it was a bad day, and I had said something about that. He said, he asked a question. He said, "What religion is your grandmother?" And I said, "She's Catholic." And he said, "I'm sorry." And I said, I said, "She's Catholic." And he said, I know. I said, "I'm sorry." And it was at that point that I realized that it wasn't that he didn't hear me. He heard me fine. That's why and there are very few occasions where I've actually flown over a cubicle wall, but that was one of them. What you talk about my sainted fucking grandmother? I'll tell you about my grandmother. Oh, my grandmother was one of the greatest women that ever lived. She had some issues. But my grandmother was a great woman. And yeah, you're not gonna do that. And the reason out of love, this man decided to tell me that my grandmother was going to hell because she was Catholic, and that the reason she was going to hell because she was Catholic is because they don't actually pray to Jesus. They don't actually pray to Jesus. They pray to Mary, who acts as an intercessor, right? And he was telling me that my grandmother was going to hell out of love. Let me tell you what that loving man, you want to know where that loving man is now? Prison. You want to know why he's in prison? He's in prison exactly why you think he's in prison. This self-righteous motherfucker. He squeezed up on a kid. You knew that was coming, right? But my grandmother's going to hell. No, asshole, you're going. There's a special place in hell for you. When I was 18 years old, I fancied myself a science fiction writer, and I wrote a story. And the first few pages of it, well, let's just say they weren't exactly kind to organized religion. And my girlfriend at the time, I gave it to my girlfriend at the time to read. And it got left in the back of a car. And I didn't know that. I'd been searching for it. I'd forgotten about it. I'd been searching for it because I actually wanted to write a second draft of it and like that. And back then, resources being what they were, this was my only copy, and I'd forgotten that I'd given it to her. I was frantic. And I went to my girlfriend's church, and her mother was there, and her mother told me, I said, "Have you seen this story in the car? Did you know?" She said, "I didn't see anything like that, but I'll tell you what I did see. I did see some trash that I threw out." It was my only copy of that story. It was not bad. And I've had to reconstruct a lot of it from memory, but, at some point I gave up on it. She threw that out of love. Okay. The audacity. How presumptuous. That, that's the problem that I have. All right, is that again, at some point, if you're told that's not cool, okay, if you're a decent human being, you back off, you dial it back. If you're part of God's special education team, that's the time that you move in with the drones or whatever. And, let me tell you about your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And by the way, you're going to hell because you don't look like me and you don't believe like me, and you're going to hell for it. Boo. And those are the people that I can't stand because they are the privilege. I hate to use that word, but that's exactly what it is. The privilege. And God forbid, pardon the pun, God forbid any other belief or any other belief system or any other person, gets to, move in 1% on that ground, right? You guys have like 98% of the ground and we just want 2% over here. Persecution! And it's all for your belief of a Jesus that actually doesn't exist. Okay, blue-eyed Barry Gibb Jesus was not a thing. That much I know for sure. Don't believe me? Ask me. How many white men were between the Tigris and Euphrates? Not thinking a whole lot. Anyway, I'm going very far afield for something that I just... When I had my epiphany, my moment of clarity, one of the things that came across to me in therapy, things that I've done since, is that it takes absolutely no time at all, no effort, no nothing, to be kind to another human being. Each man is an island, but each island is on the same damn planet. That's a quote from a book called Das Energy. Go look that up sometime. We're all connected in some way. And if we're all connected in that way, then I don't need to believe in an external force controlling everything for me to be able to say, hey, I see you. I recognize you. I love you. What can I do? How can we help each other? That's the whole fucking point. And some of y'all don't want to do that. And some of y'all don't want to do that because you believe in an orange God, you believe in a blue-eyed Barry Gibb God, or you believe that the people that don't look like you and don't believe like you they aren't actually human beings, and they're not worthy of your respect or basic human rights. And that's fine. Because I genuinely believe that most of you are probably my age or older, and that means that you're going to be gone soon. And I think the younger generation gets it, and I think that within 20, 25 years, when all of us are on the way out, I think the world's going to be very different, and it's going to be better. I hope so. It's all I care about. I want it to be better for us and for them. It's going to do it for this show. Praise Jesus. Hey, he brought that in on... Chris Rowley, one name all the same, KrisRoley. On most social media. I think on Facebook, I think it's Rowley Media, but I don't do much over there. But if you're on Facebook, it's at Rowley Media. Do that, okay? If you want to connect with me there. And of course, KrisRowley.com. Question everything but the contents of a tuna melt some shit you gotta take on faith. Stay solid, people. Bye-bye.